What is going on with Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford? A lot of reporting this morning from the NFL Combine. I'm Harrison Graham. We catch you up on all of it coming up next here on 4 Verts. It feels like the start of a lot of big moves are in the hands of Matthew Stafford, as it's been a relatively quiet week other than Trey Smith getting franchise tag and some NFL Combine notes. But I think teams are waiting to see what the resolution of the Matthew Stafford sweepstakes are. So let's get you caught up on the latest here. He is set to meet with the Rams today, and the Raiders and Giants are the other two teams in contention at this point. It does not appear that the Steelers are in the mix. Sounds like it's Rams, Giants, Raiders. One of those three teams is where Matthew Stafford will play in 2025. So I kind of want to go through each team and kind of break down what this looks like. And what is the Rams' stance? Why have they not been able to get a deal done? Well, Dianna Russini reports that the Rams would prefer a year-to-year contract method. Basically, take this year by year. He's 37 years old. They got no problem paying him decent money each year, but they don't want to commit long-term security or even multi-year contract security to Stafford. Russini says ideally for the Rams, they would keep Stafford for about $40 million in 2025, which would be a pay raise, which on the surface sounds good. And even a few days ago, I would have said, listen, if the Rams are giving him $40 million guaranteed in 2025 at his age, probably a fair deal for both sides. It still gives the Rams enough flexibility to build around him, but he also gets some security as well. That kind of changes, though, when multiple other teams are reportedly willing to give him 2 years and at least $90 million guaranteed. That is what's being reported right now, that both the Raiders and the Giants have upped their offers to 2-year contracts worth $90 to $100 million guaranteed. I've said it all week. If you're Stafford, you've made a ton of money in this league. Wouldn't you just want to stay with LA as long as the contract is reasonable? And $40 million for 1 year is more than reasonable on the surface. But if another team's going to give him more than double that in 2 years of security, who am I to count someone else's money? Does he need that money? No, but it's generational wealth. Like, if I had a lot of money in the bank, which luckily I have some, and someone offered me double the contract, even if I didn't necessarily need it, be kind of hard to turn down. That's kind of how this goes. And I think some of it is the respect factor, too, if you're Matthew Stafford. It's not just the dollar bills. It's, hey, how come these franchises are willing to give me $100 million and you guys, where I've kept you guys in the Super Bowl contention mix since I've been here, will only give me 1 year and $40 million? Like, there's got to be a respect factor for Stafford as well. That's what these players talk about all the time with the contracts. It's not just how much they get. It's where they're being viewed among their peers in the league. Tua Tagovailoa makes $53 million per year. You think Matthew Stafford doesn't know that? No, he absolutely knows that that is the case, and he is a significantly better player regardless of his age. Thank you guys so much for 8,000 subscribers here on 4 Verts. You guys are incredible. We're going to keep the ball rolling here on this show, on this channel, daily NFL content. We were going to do some NFL Combine winners and losers from yesterday's workouts, but too much Stafford juice. We'll try to get to some Combine nuggets at some point when it comes to the actual players working out at the Combine, but appreciate the support. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get to 9,000 subs ASAP. Okay, let's now go through each team. What does Los Angeles offer? Well, comfortability, right? He lives there. His family's there. He's been there 4 years. He and Sean McVay have a strong relationship. They trust each other. And quite frankly, it's the best path to winning in 2025. People forget they were about 25 yards away from knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round, or at least taking a very late lead, assuming they made the extra point, and forcing Philly to drive the length of the field in less than a minute to win that game back. People forget how close they were to beating Philly, where no one else really was in the playoffs. So if you're Stafford and you're being honest with yourself, if it's solely about trying to contend and win a Super Bowl, the Rams give you that path. They have a good blend of young and veteran talent. He's got his boy Puka Nacua there. Now he's probably going to lose Cooper Kupp, but there's ingredients there, and that starts with Sean McVay. Number 2, the Las Vegas Raiders. What do they offer? Well, more money than the Rams are offering, obviously. A new energy with Pete Carroll, John Spytek, a dynamic young tight end, brought Bowers. You wouldn't have to move that far. In fact, you'd probably just keep your LA house if you're Stafford and get a condo in Vegas or something like that, knowing that you're only going to play there a couple of years. It's still indoors. I think Stafford, from an element standpoint, he would prefer warm weather, indoor climate. They offer that. Obviously, probably a tougher division, right? You got to go through Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got to go through Justin Herbert and the Chargers. You got to go through, Sean Payton and the Broncos. Bo Nix is a young rising player. It wouldn't be easy. But, if the Raiders get Stafford with this coaching staff that has credibility, they're at least formidable. Now, would I put them on the same level as the Rams with Stafford? No, I wouldn't. But maybe they're in the wild card mix in a tough AFC. So that's what Vegas's outlook looks like. What about the Giants? Well, for one, they're a desperate organization, so they might offer the most money. Brian Daboll's an offensive-minded coach who did a good job getting Josh Allen's career off the ground, had some moments with Daniel Jones, and you have an elite young receiver in Malik Neighbors. So you would instantly have a number one guy there. Assuming it won't take the number 3 pick to get Stafford, you could get him another weapon, whether that's Travis Hunter, Tetaroa McMillan. You could trade down for more picks because you'll lose some capital in the Stafford trade. I would assume if the Giants trade for him, it's something around the 34th pick, that early second-round pick, maybe future capital as well. But obviously, on the flip side, though, you would have tricky weather, right? Like, it gets cold. It can get wet in New York. Divisions on the up and up with Washington. Obviously, Philly just won the division. So, from a competitive standpoint, I still think the Rams clear in that situation as well. So there's pros and cons to all of it. And to me, it's going to come down to money. What is Stafford willing to do when it comes to the financials? Or what are the Rams willing to do? Does Stafford's camp talk them into offering a second year? It does not seem like they're going to go up to 90, 100 million. But could they do a 2-year deal for 80? Like, if I'm Stafford and 2 and 80s on the table versus 2 versus 95, I'll take the 2 for 80 and stay in LA. But it's 1 for 40 or 2 for 100. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like, that's $60 million left on the table. It doesn't matter how much you've made. Like, there's a respect part that comes into play here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I've sound like a broken record. The Rams, like, can you afford to lose this guy? Like, what are you going to pivot to? They could try Aaron Rodgers short term for cheaper. They could try to draft a quarterback, but I just think when it's all said and done, I feel like LA is going to find a way here, but it may have to cost them a second year on a contract to pull this off. Okay, where's Stafford playing in 2025? Type LA for the Rams, LV for the Raiders, or NYG for the Giants. Give us your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, real quick, I do want to kind of hit this. The Giants do seemingly have a plan B if they are unable to land Stafford in these sweepstakes. A lot of noise coming out of the NFL Combine that New York could trade up to number 1 with Tennessee to get the number 1 overall pick. It's something we talked about the other day. And Benjamin Allbright, who's down there at the Combine, he's hearing some of the whispers. He tweeted this out yesterday, said, would not be surprised to see a trade in the top 5 for a team to get to number 1. A large trade, a giant one, a Titanic one, if you will, being obvious there. I think one thing is clear. This Giants regime is going to turn every stone to get a quarterback. They know they have to win now, and they know that without good quarterback play, they're not going to win. So, look, is trading up to 1 and getting Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders a guarantee they're going to win this year? No, but if there's growth throughout the season, could that be enough to convince John Mara to keep these guys around long term? It could. So if they don't get Stafford, I do think they will be making an offer to the Tennessee Titans to move up from 3 to 1. And if you're the Titans, and I said this earlier this week as well, if you don't love these quarterbacks, why wouldn't you trade down from 1 to 3? You could still get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. At least one of those guys would be guaranteed to be on the board, if not both, because there was a lot of buzz that the Browns want to take a quarterback at 2 as well. Here's my trade idea. I don't think the Titans would get as much in this draft as they would in a normal draft. Like last year, moving up from 3 to 1, you're talking the 3rd pick and a future first at least, I would think. I don't think the Giants would have to give that up. I think it'd be 3, 34, which is an early second, and then a 3rd-round pick next year. That's the offer, I think, that is pretty good for both sides. Giants move up to 1. They go pick a quarterback. Titans go down to 3, take the best player available, whether it's Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. And what say you? Who do you guys think is going to be the first quarterback drafted? Type CW for Cam Ward or SS for Shedeur Sanders. Give us your thoughts on that one. I think if the Giants moved up, I think Cam Ward would be the pick, but they've been connected to Shedeur as well, so it'd be interesting to see how that part of it all played out. Okay, that's going to do it for this edition of For Verts. Again, I think once this Stafford thing is resolved, you're going to see a lot of things happen. The floodgates are going to open to some other trades. I think the focus at quarterback will shift to these 2 draft guys, Sam Darnold as well. Did the Vikings tag him? So things are going to start to pick up here. It sounds like this Stafford thing is going to be resolved by Sunday at the latest. We'll have it all covered here on For Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. See you guys soon.